If you're planning a trip to Zanzibar and you don't know where to stay, this video is going to save you hours and hours of research. I know that finding your ideal holiday location can be challenging in Zanzibar, so in this video, I'll break down the best areas to stay, the top resorts and hotels in each area, whether you're splurging on a luxury holiday or you're a budget backpacker, and I'll also tell you what to do in each area and the top tours and activities in each place. If you're new here, hi, my name is Laura, and I've spent the past few years traveling all over the world to places like Kenya, Pakistan, France, Switzerland, and so much more. I also spent a few months living in Zanzibar earlier this year, and I've traveled quite a lot all over Tanzania, so this is a country that I know particularly well. In this channel, I typically share lots of travel guides, travel vlogs, and also hidden gems, so if that's something you like, make sure you subscribe for more, and now let's go back into the video. Let's start with the north of the island and its most famous beach, Nungwi. So Nungwi used to be a small fisherman's village a few decades ago, but now it's become Zanzibar's most famous beach destination. It's particularly well known for its sunsets and its vibrant beach life, and this area is ideal if you want to mix beach days with really great nightlife. Like pretty much all beaches in Zanzibar, Nungwi is very well known for its beautiful turquoise water, its white sand, and its towering palm trees. But the difference with Nungwi is that the tide stays out less here, so swimming is great at any time of day, which makes it a preferred destination for a lot of travelers. There are also lots of activities to do in and around Nungwi, so sunset cruises are particularly popular, and also snorkeling and diving. So Zanzibar in general has really great snorkeling and diving, and you can do these activities almost anywhere, so I will only mention these in places where I think that they're particularly good, and Nungwi is one of those places. Nungwi is also very well known for its turtle sanctuary. It's called the Baraka Natural Aquarium, if I'm not mistaken, and you can see it all over Instagram. It's that place where people go into a little lagoon and swim with sea turtles. And you can also do a day trip to Tumbatu Island. So Tumbatu Island is a secluded, culturally rich island with really great coral reefs. So again, fantastic for snorkeling and diving. That is not a Nungwi per se, it's more of a day trip or a half day trip, but it's still one that I highly recommend and that not a lot of people know about. Lastly, Nungwi has a great horse center. It's called the Zanzibar Horse Club, and here you can go into the beach with horses, into the beautiful water, whether you're an experienced horse rider or you're just a beginner. Even if you've never horse ridden before, you can do a little tour here, and they have tours available for all levels, so this is something that I also highly recommend. As for where to stay in Nungwi, you've got accommodation options for all budgets, so if you're on a budget, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, I would recommend that you stay at Makofi Guest House, which is a backpacker-friendly hostel with a social vibe. If your budget is more mid-range, then Baraka Beach Bungalows is a great option for you. It's simple, it's got a beachfront, and it's quite comfortable. And if you're looking for luxury, then the Z Hotel is a boutique luxury hotel right in front of the beach, and that is perfect for you. Moving on to Kendwa. So Kendwa is a beach destination just south of Nungwi, and it used to be known as kind of a hidden gem in Zanzibar. People tend to say that Nungwi is a lot busier with tourists, and Kendwa was the place where you wouldn't find any tourists and it would be a lot quieter and a lot more laid back. And I do think this used to be true, but because Zanzibar's tourism has grown so much in the past couple of years, I don't think that Kendwa is a hidden gem anymore. I would call it quite touristic, but it is true that it does have a more laid-back vibe than Nungwi, and it is a bit quieter. So if you don't like tourist crowds or super touristic places, then Kendwa might be a slightly better option for you. Kendwa is most well known for its full moon party, so this is a monthly party, very popular with tourists and locals in Zanzibar, so it is definitely a great place for nightlife, but it also has a beautiful stretch of beach where you can chill and just have some really nice relaxing beach days, so it's a great place to combine those two things, like the relaxing aspect of the beach, but also the partying aspect of it. I wouldn't say that Kendwa is really a budget destination. There aren't many budget options, so when it comes to choosing a place to stay, if you have a mid-range luxury, you can stay at Kendwa Rocks, which is actually the host of the full moon party. It's right on the beach, and again, this place is known for nightlife. And if you have more of a luxury stay in mind, then Gold Zanzibar Beach House is an upscale resort with fine dining and a spa, and this is the perfect place for you. Heading on to the east coast, let's talk about Paje. So Paje is located in the southeastern region of the island, and I would say that along with Nungwi, this is the most famous and most popular beach destination with tourists in Zanzibar. Paje is also a hotspot for backpackers. It's much more budget friendly, and it's also Zanzibar's kitesurfing capital, so Paje has very consistent winds, and it is definitely the best place in the island to practice this sport and to learn kitesurfing or enjoy it if you already know how to kitesurf. Obviously, the top thing that you can do in Paje is kitesurf and relax on the beach, walk on the beach. There's also lots of beach bars. This place is perfect for budget travelers, digital nomads, and you can also do dhow sunset cruises here. When it comes to where to stay, if you're a budget backpacker, then Drifters Backpackers is a popular hostel with really social vibes. If you've got more of a mid-range budget, then Ananda Beach Hotel is relaxed, clean, and right on the beach. And if you're going for luxury, I generally wouldn't recommend Paje for you, but you can also find luxury in Paje. Kisiwa on the beach is really elegant. They have really elegant villas with ocean views, and you might like this place. I actually have a travel vlog about Paje if you're interested in watching that, and because I spent a few months living in Zanzibar and I've spent so much time traveling around Zanzibar and Tanzania, I have two playlists, a Zanzibar playlist and a Tanzania playlist with so many videos about this country. I have so many travel vlogs about places like the Ngorongoro, Serengeti, Arusha. I also have vlogs about Safari Blue in Zanzibar, Stone Town, lots of other beach destinations, and so much more. And I also have a ton of travel guides. So all of the information that you could possibly want or need about traveling to Tanzania or Zanzibar is in those playlists. So I will link them in the description down below, but I would definitely check them out if I were you. And if you're planning a trip to Zanzibar, Tanzania, definitely check those out because they have so much useful info and they will save you so much time when researching. Right next to Paje, you can find Jambiani. So Jambiani used to be a little fisher's village that was inaccessible to tourists for a very long time, so it offers a quieter, more authentic village feel. It's perfect for slow travelers and those really looking to soak in the local culture, so this is a place that definitely offers a lot more cultural experience while still having those beautiful beach vibes. The top activities that you can do here are village walks. You can also do seaweed farming tours, and these two activities really offer an insight into what local life is like in Zanzibar, and particularly life in the beach and rural life. You can also do reef snorkeling and scuba diving here. There's a beautiful blue lagoon in the ocean which is perfect for snorkeling and diving, and there's also a diving school here called Pole Pole Divers. Kusa Cave is also nearby, and this is a beautiful freshwater cave with lovely turquoise water. It's ideal for a swim, and this is definitely a place that you should add to your bucket list when you're in Zanzibar. Much like Paje, Jambiani is a place for budget and mid-range travelers. If you want luxury, you can find it here, but I honestly would recommend that you go somewhere else if you're looking for luxury. There's no shortage of luxury accommodation in Zanzibar, so just Jambiani and Paje are just not the best places for it. But if you're on a budget, I recommend that you stay at a place called Blue Earth Bungalows, which are beachfront bungalows with a rustic charm. And if you've got a bit of a higher budget, you're in the mid-range budget area, then Sherazad Boutique Hotel is perfect for you. It's really stylish and serene. Next up is Bwejuu. So Bwejuu is the perfect compromise if you want luxury but also the activities of Paje and Jambiani. So Paje and Jambiani are both very close to Bwejuu, and this closeness allows you accessibility to all of the activities in those areas while still having a more luxury stay in Bwejuu. Bwejuu is also the place to go if you want peace and privacy. It's a lot quieter than Paje and Jambiani, making it ideal for honeymooners or those looking to completely unwind. The best things to do here besides enjoying the beautiful beach is to relax, have spa days, and enjoy the activities of Paje and Jambiani, and you can also do some really cool snorkeling trips from here. When it comes to accommodation, if you're going for luxury, then the Baraza Resort and Spa is an all-inclusive luxury resort with impeccable service. And if you don't quite have that luxury budget, but you still want to enjoy the peace and quiet of Bwejuu, then I recommend this mid-range accommodation called Evergreen Bungalows, which is really charming and laid back. Moving on to Kiwengwa. So Kiwengwa is known as the Little Italy of Zanzibar due to its popularity among Italian tourists. You can expect long beaches and large resorts here, ideal for families who want a traditional resort experience, and it's also ideal for all-inclusive travelers. So there's not much to do in Kiwengwa, to be honest, besides relax and enjoy like resort-based relaxation and beach walks. But this place is perfect for, again, just chill days at the beach and luxury. So when it comes to luxury accommodation, the Melia Zanzibar is definitely the best option. This is a 5-star luxury resort with a private beach and great cuisine. And if you don't quite have the luxury for Melia, then Zamblu Beach Hotel is a boutique hotel with great views. Pongwe is similar to Kiwengwa in the sense that there isn't a whole lot to do in the area except for enjoy your resort, enjoy the beach, and relax. But this is absolute seclusion. Like, Pongwe is truly a hidden gem in Zanzibar, and I don't think that there's a whole lot of those left. This place has postcard beauty, it's quiet, it's romantic, and the beach is stunning. So this is perfect if you're on your honeymoon, if you really want to relax and unwind, not do any sorts of activities, and if you just want tranquility. So as for accommodation, for luxury travelers, Dulia Zanzibar has private villas, plunge pools, and fine dining. It is a beautiful, beautiful place. And for mid-range travelers, you've got the Pongwe Beach Hotel, which is very intimate and right on the sand. Next up is Kizimkazi. So Kizimkazi is in the southern tip of the island, very, very far south, and it is famous for its dolphin tours and its very secluded vibes. This is a place that definitely feels more connected to Zanzibar's roots, and it's perfect for nature lovers and off-the-beaten-path travelers. It's also more budget-friendly than some of the other destinations I've mentioned before. The top things to do here include dolphin watching and snorkeling, but when it comes to these activities, I would really encourage you to make sure that the activities you're booking are ethical, because a lot of dolphin tours in Zanzibar unfortunately are not ethical. They're very disruptive of the dolphins, and personally the dolphin tours that I've been on in Zanzibar, I haven't liked them one bit. So just make sure that you're booking a good tour for this. As for accommodation, if you're on a budget, Promised Land Lodge is an eco-conscious lodge with stunning views, and if you have a bit of a higher budget, then Unguja Lodge has beautiful villas nestled in nature. So moving on to Matemwe. Matemwe is in the northeast of the island, and it's actually pretty close to Nungwi. So the main reason people come here is to go to a secluded destination. Matemwe is definitely not amongst the most popular destinations in Zanzibar, which makes it a lot quieter, and it's a great place to go to the Memba Atoll. So the Memba Atoll, it's a private island. It actually belongs to Bill Gates. It's really cool. And there's a snorkeling reef all around, like a beautiful coral reef all around the island that you can actually access, which makes it one of the top diving and snorkeling spots in all of Zanzibar. Depending on who you ask, some people will tell you that Memba is not that great because a lot of its coral is bleaching and it is a kind of a little bit overcrowded. There's definitely more secluded snorkeling spots in the island, but if you want to check out like the top snorkeling spot, which is also a place where you can see dolphins, and if you're lucky, if you're in season, you can see sea turtles, then this is the place. For luxury accommodation, you've got the Zawadi Hotel, which is adults only with cliffside villas, and more in the mid-range area, you've got Sunshine Marine Lodge, which is relaxed and very, very diving focused. So moving on to Michamvi. The Michamvi Peninsula is known for its really relaxed atmosphere and magical sunsets on the west-facing beaches, even though this place is on the eastern side of the island. This place is great for families and also travelers looking for a mix of beach and nature. Among the top things to do here, the most famous is definitely going to the Rock Restaurant, which is one of the most well-known restaurants in all of Zanzibar, but you can also do lots of snorkeling and paddleboarding, and this is kind of a great place to go for seclusion as well. When it comes to accommodation for mid-range travelers, I recommend the Baladan Zanzibar Beach Hotel, which is very family-friendly with a relaxed vibe. And for those looking for luxury, then the Kambani Luxury Resort is remote, stunning, and very private. And lastly, we've got Stone Town. So Stone Town is the heart of Zanzibar's history and culture. It's where Arab, Persian, Indian, and European influences all blend together in a labyrinth of alleys, markets, and mosques. And this place is very different from all of the others that I mentioned because all of the other places have those beautiful beaches that Zanzibar is so famous for, with the turquoise water, the towering palm trees, and the white sand. But Stone Town does not. Stone Town is definitely a destination for culture lovers, but I really encourage everyone to stay here because the culture and the history here is genuinely so fascinating, and you will learn so much about Zanzibar in this place, and it is totally worth it. I also have a vlog about Stone Town in that Zanzibar playlist that I was telling you earlier. As a reminder, I left the link for that playlist as well as my Tanzania playlist in the description down below. I have so many travel vlogs and so many travel guides about this beautiful, beautiful country over there, so make sure you check it out if you're planning a trip to this region of the world. The top things that you can do in Zanzibar is visit the Fordani Gardens night market, which is a food market where you can try delicious local cuisine. I also really encourage you to explore the streets of Stone Town because they're so beautiful and charming. The local architecture is fascinating, and you can also find lots of little souvenir shops that are so colorful. I also encourage you to explore Darajani Market, which is the local market in Stone Town, as well as the Old Fort and the House of Wonders. There are also tons of day trips and excursions that you can do from Stone Town. So for example, one of my favorites is going to Nakupenda Sandbank and Prison Island, and you can also do Safari Blue, you can also do spice tours, and so much more. There's accommodation for all budgets here, so if you're on a budget, if you're a backpacker, a great place to stay is the Lost and Found Hostel, which is very clean and central. I also stayed a lot at a place called Balcony House, which is more of a guest house and it has private rooms, and that's a place that I personally really like as well. If you have a mid-range budget, then the Dow Palace Hotel is very traditional with rooftop views. And if you're going for luxury, then Park Hyatt Zanzibar has modern comfort with a lot of Swahili charm. Anyways, I hope you found this guide useful. It was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but regardless, I think the information here is very helpful to those who want to travel to Zanzibar. If you found this helpful, I would really appreciate it if you liked, if you left a comment, if you subscribed. I'm currently trying to grow my YouTube channel, and all of that help is so appreciated. And I hope to see you in my next video.